David, in the big picture, we've heard about the Tea Parties, but what about the Tea Party movie? It is not a parody. It is not a spoof. It is actually, I think, to expose everyone to their story. It's a real documentary about the Tea Party movement.
Yeah, and Tamara, the movie had its Washington premiere on Wednesday, and it was sponsored by the conservative group Freedom Works, which organized a number of Tea Party protests and, of course, is linked to Dick Armey and various lobbying groups in Washington. But in any case, here is a clip from the documentary.
A greater cause united them.
I don't care what party you're in.
A greater outcome awaits them.
We're here to be great. We're not mediocre.
This Thanksgiving, the story of 2009 becomes the living history of the Second American Revolution. Tea Party, the documentary film. Liberty's March as a new generation of patriots.
Joining us now is Luke Livingston, executive producer of Tea Party, the documentary film, which is now out on DVD. And Luke, what's the purpose of this? Because I have to confess, a lot of people, when they hear this, may think, is that a spoof?
Well, it's not a spoof. It's real people. It's a film about grassroots activists and their journey from small-town rally-goers to activists on the national front there at the U.S. Capitol on the West Steps at the 9/12 March.
Well, you say real people, but the documentary was written by a man who is listed as a staff member on the Americans for Prosperity website, which is essentially a front group for that is funded by the oil and gas industry. So again, isn't this part of the effort by the corporate lobbying interests to try to spread the message of the Tea Party?
And across this great
David, we do have a corporate sponsor. It's right here. It's my American Express card, and it's maxed out on this project. Joel Foster actually is a good friend and someone I've worked with before on local grassroots efforts. The film wasn't really written by him. He wrote around the project, helping us with the trailer, which you just sampled on the air. That's our trailer that's on YouTube. But the documentary itself is just the voices of real people. There's no narrator, and what we shot and collected along the way informed our story.
Do the Tea Party movement, do they agree with Sarah Palin that President Obama may not have been born in the United States?
Well, I don't speak for the Tea Party movement. I can tell you about my film and what the 5 people that we profiled in my film talk about, and that is constitutionally limited government, fiscal responsibility as far as the government's concerned, and free markets, which is why I'm selling the DVD.
But why is it that so many of the birther movements are somehow part of the Tea Party movement? And do you think it's fair to do a documentary where you focus only on these 5 people who have legitimate policy arguments, but who, when there's so many people associated with this movement who have fringe views, that at least be fringe according to most mainstream Americans? Don't you think it's fair to provide an accurate depiction of who these people are?
Well, our depiction's very accurate, David. I mean, what we try to do is find a cross-section of people from the movement. I mean, you can't do a documentary about the Tea Party movement because it's so gigantic. I mean, on 9/12, millions of people rallied around the country, not just in Washington, D.C., but around the country. How are you going to cover that? I'm a small guy, you know, mom-and-pop operation here. So the best way is to find people along the way and follow their journey into activism, and that's what we've done very effectively. This story, you'll cry, you'll laugh, you'll stand and cheer. It's an exciting film. We don't hammer anybody. We try and expose what the movement's about so that people will understand this is a mainstream movement in America.
Well, look, we appreciate all of that, and there's nothing wrong with people essentially making a documentary about themselves, but I think we should also be clear that people should have no illusions. This was done by the Tea Party movement for the Tea Party. You have every right to exclude people from your film who don't reflect well on the Tea Party movement, but again, let's be clear, this is for the Tea Party movement by the Tea Party movement. Luke Livingston, executive producer of the Tea Party, the documentary film. Luke, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Hey, David, they can get the DVD at www.teapartymovie.com.
There you go, teaparty.com. Thanks, Luke.
All right, Luke, hope you sell some there because you got that plug-in. Up next, some stories that make us say, no way, David. I will say